Man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. You know, after watching Danny Jacobs fight last night, man, and looking like he's in his total prime right now, we want to see nothing but good and big fights for Daniel Jacobs. We hear that Daniel Jacobs signed an agreement to be under Matchroom Boxing. He signed with UK promoter Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn has invaded America with Danny Jacobs and Jarrell Big Baby Miller as his first two signings and putting them on the card here in America. Now, like I stated in a previous video, I have no problem with Eddie Hearn coming here into U.S. boxing and attempting to make a run at the promotional game here. But the thing I didn't, and actually it was, pretty welcome because Eddie Hearn is a big name in the UK. He's known for making, big events. So bringing that to U.S. boxing, I thought was a good thing. The one thing that I didn't want Eddie Hearn to bring to American boxing was the Eddie Hearn protection program. You get what I'm saying? We see what he's doing with Anthony Joshua. How he's trying to build him into this cash cow, cherry picking fights whenever he feels as though they're the most profitable. You know what I'm saying? Looking at a goal from a promoter standpoint. In a lot of cases like that, it hurts fights that we want to see, such as the Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder fight. Now, clearly here, Daniel Jacobs, before he beat Luis Arias last night, he stated that he would like to go and face Jamal Charlo. These were the words of Daniel Jacobs. He would like to face Jamal Charlo. And Eddie Hearn then comes right back out in interviews stating that he does not want Daniel Jacobs to go towards Jamal Charlo. He will prefer Daniel Jacobs take the winner of either David Lemieux and Billy Joe Saunders or either the winner of Canelo and Triple G. Now, we already know that Daniel Jacobs has already fought Gennady Golovkin, and he wants to get a rematch. Well, the best route to get a rematch right now with Gennady Golovkin, in my opinion, would be for him to face Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo is the number one contender at the WBC, which Gennady Golovkin is the WBC champion. Well, Daniel Jacobs is the number two guy. So if them two get it on, well, the winner will become the mandatory, right? So, I don't see the issues there. First, I thought there may be some politics there, but given that they're saying that Jamal Charlo is not exclusively tied to Showtime, he can then go and fight on HBO if it need be. And Al Heyman and Eddie Hearn has no beef between one another, so there's nothing impeding it there. Only thing that's impeding it is Eddie Hearn and his protection program. That would be a dynamic fight. Jamal Charlo versus Daniel Jacobs would be popping. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the winner would be in a position to get Gennady Golovkin. How is that a bad thing? Oh, I see. Eddie Hearn wants his fighter to take a more, what he think is a more easier route with David Lemieux and Billy Joe Saunders. That's crap, man. That's what I'm talking about. I can understand even right now why maybe even though I would love to see the fight between Demetrius Andrade and Daniel Jacobs, but given that Demetrius Andrade hasn't caused much noise at 160 yet, and he doesn't have a big notable win under his belt, I understand why Daniel Jacobs wouldn't step in that direction right now. But here in Jamal Charlo's case, he is in a position where Daniel Jacobs would love to be, and that is the number one contender in the WBC. So what is it? And then not to mention, given that Daniel Jacobs' associations or past associations with Al Heyman, that may even hinder him from getting a fight, say, if David Lemieux wins, because he's an Oscar De La Hoya fighter, and we know the differences between Golden Boy and Al Heyman. He'll have a much better chance of probably making the fight with Billy Joe Saunders, but then again, Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn don't always see eye to eye either, and Billy Joe Saunders fights for Frank Warren. So, it's either way you look at it, it's a tough political climate with that fight in certain ways. But in the Jamal Charlo case, where it is a big fight, Jamal Charlo is advised by Al Heyman, whom has a very close working relationship with Daniel Jacobs. The fight is very possible. They will get Showtime and HBO to bend on this. This is what I was talking about. No protection programs. We don't play that type of game. American boxing fans don't get down with protection programs. Eddie Hearn, like I said before, I give him props for being a very good promoter. That's how he gets to throw those big events. But Eddie Hearn loves to institute protection programs, man. And look, right here, clearly, if Jamal Charlo starts to scream out Daniel Jacobs' name, which right now he doesn't have a real reason to, because he is in the number one contender spot to face Gennady Golovkin, But if the WBC somehow, some way orders that fight, well, Daniel Jacobs is not going to be able to get away from that, and Eddie Hearn is not going to be able to get Daniel Jacobs away from that either. So I hope no funny stuff is going on behind the scenes. Eddie Hearn has a lot of influence. I don't know how much he has influence with the WBC, but yo, man, I hope ain't no funny stuff going down behind the scenes where we won't get possibly a Daniel Jacobs and Jamal Charlo ordered, man. I'd love to see that fight, and the winner of that fight can then go on and get the Canelo Triple G winner, because, I mean, then at that point, both of those men earned and deserved that fight. Right now, Daniel Jacobs lost to Gennady Golovkin, and getting a win over Cuba Edius is not going to get him back to that fight. I don't even know if getting a win over, say, David Lemieux, whom Gennady Golovkin defeated, or Billy Joe Saunders would even do it. You know what I mean? Maybe. But I know for sure a Jamal Charlo fight will put him in the position that he wants to be in. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So Eddie Hearn, quit the protection crap. Real talk. So to the next video. I hope he doesn't do the same thing with Jarrell Big Baby Miller, man. Because though Jarrell Big Baby Miller looked very limited last night, man. Very limited last night. That was a bad fight to watch for a heavyweight fight. You know, clearly Eddie Hearn's going to look to groom that kid a little more, and I don't think he throws him in there right away with Joshua. Some people saying that, hey, by him looking vulnerable last night, that may get him the Joshua fight a little faster. But I don't know, man. I think Jarrell Miller soured with the fans last night, and he has some things to make up before he gets a fight with AJ. They probably throw him in there with Dillian White. I can definitely see that coming. But we'll see, man. Right now, man. But stop the protection programs, Eddie Hearn. We don't play that game. So to the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Made Man. Google Plus, Made Man 511, Twitter, Made Man Boxing Forum on Facebook, man. It's just, you know, that was just one of the things that I've been keeping my third eye open for when it comes down to Eddie Hearn. And quite honestly, it may just be coming to fruition a little faster than I thought, because clearly Jamal Charlo is right there, and it puts him exactly where he wants to be. So no excuses. To the next video. Peace out.